Boom! Thundercloud, welcome to Wednesday Words here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Everybody knows Mum calls me James. Wash away the garbage, even rainbows after rains. Well, with thunderclouds, we have fun and games, and there would be no thunderclouds if there was no sky. And guess who has popped by? Yes, Skye. Right. Hello, Skye. Hey. Welcome back. Yeah, I haven't had Wednesday Words for a very long time. I've had a bit of a hiatus over the beginning of the year from both Chill and Tuesday and Wednesday Words. But hey, I am back. Skye's here. We've been having a bit of open mic music stuff happening too, which I haven't been recording, so that's why. But the date today, I have no idea what the date is, but it doesn't matter. The weather is going to be good, and it doesn't matter because, well, the wind blows on everyone.
The 16th.
It's the 16th of April. Gosh.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I thought I'd start with one of the first poems that I wrote. This was a tribute to my grandfather, Arthur. Arthur was a bear who could hug with great care, loving in a manly way, kind, happy, laugh and play, always with a gentle care. Arthur was a great big bear. He taught me how to be a man, walk with strength that's often. In the garden waited a boy, beeps of horn, shouts of joy, bumper, grandpa coming home, plums and lemons, grass freshly mown. Driving out on the freeway, no more bridges was the game we played. Arthur is forevermore, the gentle man lives on for sure. And that was like one of the very first things that I ever wrote. And then I suppose the second thing that I, like as a poem, I had written a few before. In fact, when I was in grade 6, I won my first prize for a Queensland Day poem. Queensland, the land of sun and heat, where we take our shoes and socks off and go to school bare feet.
Yeah.
Queensland, lying in the sun. Don't forget your hat, skin cancer's no fun. Yeah. And there were some other things, yeah. Queensland. Everyone's got thongs, all bare feet, and smokes a lot of bongs. But I just made that up now. Masculine and feminine in oneness, honouring the other Mother Earth who gave you a birth, a sister's honour. 2, kindness in the feminist, kindness nurtures you, masculine and feminine will dance and spin, and each protected mass, feminine is held within a masculine, electricity and magnetism, masculine and feminine, dancing, friction, yin and yang, boy and girl from within, rainbow spin, co-creation, rainbow spin, honouring the feminine and masculine, love within magnetism.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I did sometimes write some nice stuff, lovely stuff. Not nice, yeah, well, lovely, yeah, beautiful stuff, yeah. And then, through like love in Nimbin, then there was lust in Nimbin, and through that period I decided to write them into sort of the love stuff and the more political kind of stuff. So yeah, my 2 books, Love in Nimbin and Lust in Nimbin, are available on Amazon, all from me directly. And then Lust in Nimbin. So I'm going all the way back to 2017 here, and one of these days I might even publish my 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 poetry. I've got like 6 years of poetry to publish. Yeah, that's probably why I haven't written much lately, because I was like, oh well.
You need to publish that.
I probably do, but like, does anyone want to publish my poetry? Apart from me, because I just haven't got the time at the moment. Yeah, one day. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's quite political, this sort of stuff, and some of it I'm like, not really, don't want to read. Ooh, vegan soup, eh? Yeah, I have this chicken soup stuck in my head. We made love on the kitchen floor. I ate her in my bed. My chicken soup with thighs and breast peas. My chicken soup is on her knees. My chicken soup is gone before my beef fillet makes her moan for more. Oh my God. Yeah, right? Okay. I haven't eaten chicken for so long. I can't remember the last time I ate chicken. It would have been, honestly, I cannot remember. It would have to be 8 years since I've eaten chicken. Like, I didn't even eat chicken when I wrote this poem. And I didn't eat beef because by 2017 I'd given up meat, like totally, at that stage in my life. My beef fillet makes her moan for more. I want your chicken soup, oh please, my chicken soup, she begs me please. I don't know what everyone was thinking when I wrote this. My chicken soup, she was a farmer. My chicken soup now prefers my banana. My chicken soup's a vegan now, eats zucchini, not dead cow. My vegan soup makes me warm, eating carrots like they're porn. Mangoes, peaches and lychees, lettuce, almond oil, lettuce, rub almond oil, please. Give me vegan soup, no cheese. Orange and a purple root, my vegan soup with roots and, give me vegan soup, no cheese, my vegan soup with roots and peas, orange and a purple root, vegan food porn is a hoot. I like my vegan soup on the kitchen floor, so much more exciting than chicken soup for sure. Yeah, well that one just fell out, of there. Yeah, definitely I was not eating anything like, I think from around about 2014, when the roof got 15, once I hit the bus, got my bus, didn't it, 15, 16, 17, 18, I started eating beef when I was in Nimbin again, that was about it, only beef mostly, and that was very rare. Mostly veggie stir fry, yeah, with brown rice. Thundercloud fried rice, yeah. This is a special one that I used to make for special customers. It was the only time I ever got off the floor and into the kitchen at the restaurant. One of the few times was when of our special customers wanted thunder fried rice. And they had the extra special ingredients like the Chinese 5 spice that Rose didn't put in it, made it just like, yeah. And freshly grated ginger. Yeah. And then, one of my best, The Legend of the Bomber Gun. Yeah. And this was actually done I did this at the part of my performance at the Nimbin Performance Poetry World Cup in 27 where I got the final. So, and I did the Urban Street Poets News wearing an outfit made of like a skirt and a vest made of duct tape. Black and yellow and red duct tape. And so it was the Urban Street Poets News. There was a part about the legend of the bomber gun. There was about the bowerbirds and some more, Henceforth the sleuth and warp was haste. No more warp, careless. Legend of the bomber gun. Peace now reigns, but the ribs were blood. Over there on future earth, father tells his son a story. Long ago the ribs were blood. This story will be gory. Henceforth the sleuth and warp was hest. No more warp, careless. Legend of the bomber gun. Peace now reigns, but the ribs were blood. Warrinda came in a gust of whoosh. Against no warps did he push. The pushers and their ribs of blood all laid down the bomber gun. The bomber gun henceforth no gotten, but the ribs of blood were not forgotten. The peace now reigns, not the bomber gun. Warp's ribs of blood no longer run. Henceforth the sleuth and warp will never warp keelless no more ever. Legend of the bomber gun. Peace now reigns, and the ribs of love were understood between the others. He said, "Hey, warps, kill me, your brother." But the warps, they answered, "Why? But no, there's rivers of blood upon the snow. These bomber gun no need have gotten, but the rivers of blood are not forgotten." Peace Warenda came to heal the earth, and the rivers now run clear rainbow birth. Henceforth they stop the rivers of blood, and the rivers now flowing rivers of love. Warenda stopped the bomber gun, and the rivers of blood no longer run. "Tell me, Dad, what's a bomber gun?" "It was a machine to make the rivers of blood run, son." Henceforth the sleuth and warp was hissed. Warp, no more warp, careless. Legend of the bomber gun, peace now reigns, and the rivers now flow clear rainbow love. There's part 2 to that. Part 2, Legend of the bomber gun. Bullocks flummoxed through the air, the sound of screaming everywhere, the smell of scorch upon the nose, the splutterness that stained the clothes. Warenda whooshed into the land, there was ribs of blood upon the sand. Warenda called, "Hey, warps, yes, you, these bomber gun is killing you." The warps, we answered, "We don't want no more ribs of blood or bloody war. We do not think that war is funny, but we've invested lots of money. How can we stop the bomber gun so the rivers of blood no longer run?" Warenda said, "Bomber guns, ground them down. Make a big pile far from town. Ground them down, make no war. Destroy bomber guns forevermore." They piled the bomber guns up high, giant Zilla pile up to the sky. They took the biggest bomber gun, the last unrusty one. And Warenda flew above the pile, and Warenda and the warps all smiled, and they dropped that last big bomber gun, the very last unrusty one, and the bomber gun was nevermore. The rivers of blood not upon the shore. They stopped and never ran again. The warps became all good friends. Henceforth the sleuth and warp was hessed, and a pile of molten metal was left. Warenda stopped the warp somehow. They made robots, tools and homes and ploughs. No rivers of blood across the earth, just peace and love and new rebirth. Henceforth they stopped the bomber gun, and the rivers of blood no longer run. The sleuth and warp was gone forever. The bomber gun careless, no more ever. Warenda stopped the killing and fear, and the bomber guns all disappeared. Then he left when the warp was over, and the rivers of blood washed from the clover. The grass was green, the snow was white, there were no bomber gun flashes at night. Bullocks cleared from the sky, the singing birds were heard up high. The acrid scorch had left the nose, the rivers were clean to wash the clothes. Henceforth the sleuth and warp was hessed. No more warp, careless. Legend of the bomber gun, peace now reigns, and the rivers are no longer blood. Yay! Yeah, it's so, I love that one. It's fun. And because it's like, it's predictive programming, it's got to happen in the future. It's like I've created the future. Yeah. No war, just through a palm. I know, it just resonates out through the world because everyone thinks the same, really, like in the field. We don't want war. So that's why we love it. Now, would you like to come up? Will I do Francis Kenna first? No. Would you like to come up, Skye?
Okay.
Okay. Skye, camp and everyone.
So, yeah. Blissful, blissful rising. Divine one with me, can't wait to be alone with thee, snuggled in your arms. The king, his queen, hearts beat in time, magic entwine, the hum of your energy, feeling divine, the touch of your fingers, oh, so sublime. Feeling so calm, feels safe in your arms, waiting for you, craving your your soul connect charm, guiding our energy greater than lust. I am your woman, my man I do trust, loving you, holding you, feeling the thrust, the magic surrounding us, all in a gust. And next one is as one from afar. A month since first connected, the brain is all affected, and in my travels elated, for the mind is somehow mated. Feels of you arise as the soft light hits my eyes. Your sweet lips taste on mine, arms wrapped round, divine. Hearts, they are erasing. They are erasing. Sounds like it's erasing. Hearts, they are erasing. Anyway.
Up racing.
Yeah, up racing.
Yeah, I get it.
Not erasing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hearts, they are erasing. Chi, it is a pacing. I'll take this as a sign, as one we are divine. It's tapping. Alright, I was just having fun with the tapping. And I'll just do an old one. On wings I go, in fields I lay a summer's day. I'll start again. On wings I go, in fields I lay a summer's day, be surrounded by wildflowers. On wings I go, so high and low, as butterflies pass by hours. I dream away, so far away, of lands of peace and glory. For all who live, yes, those who give, away with the killing and gory. So bring me back beyond the tracks, to a world that seems so breezy, to love and play and say good day, and be kind, as it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, like the prank phone call to it. I got a prank phone call today. Like, it was from a mobile number. It's like, huh? Because I think someone cut the phone cord at the post office phone.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, is that working? Is that working?
No.
Hello? Now it is. Yeah, so someone, yeah. So I got this prank phone call today and said, hello, this is the Department of Education. I said, yeah? And they said, your pussy stinks. I said, no, that's your breath blowing back in your face, and hung up on them.
Oh my God.
I know. How could they smell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they must be
Obviously
smelling their own breath. Yeah. Anyway, so I got them a beauty. They thought they were getting me. Little shits.
Bring them back.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, a giant twist.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh wow. The giant twist. Yeah, this is cool. I like the end of this, yeah. Because, you know, the assumption, a self-sufficient giant once lived on a rock. Giant was self-sufficient, so had a giant cock. And to lay giant eggs, was a cock's a name for a rooster, and to lay giant eggs. Also had a giant hen which hatched giant chicks every now and then. Had a giant garden which grew giant fruit and vegetables like spuds and giant kiwi fruit. One day the giant cock started to spit, then it squatted down and did a giant shit. Next it fell over and promptly died, so the giant plucked its cock and ate it stir fry. With giant onions, giant broccoli, zucchini, ate it in the sun wearing a giant bikini. A self-sufficient giant lives on a rock. Wearing a bikini doesn't have a giant cock, but it has a giant egg hen to lay giant eggs, which giant eats to fill tummies and legs. Sitting in the sun on a rock getting a tan, giant doesn't have a cock because she's not a man. She has a giant V. I'm sure you'd like to see, but you can't because she wears a giant bikini. Yeah, and I didn't even have to bring in vagina into that, yeah. Oh, and then there was a bump in the night one.
That could be her name, Vagina.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. This vagina.
Is that like
Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah. A bump in the night and footsteps and more, creaking of floorboards, squeak of the floor. In bed in the dark, there's nowhere to hide. Footsteps sneaking closer, cool wind blows inside. A rattle and sliding of the kitchen drawer. The one with the knives, footsteps on the floor. 3 a.m. Saturday. I know, right? It's like, what? And then I got Meta AI to make a picture to go with it.
Oh, yeah.
So it gives like a bed.
Oh, yes, that's all right.
Yeah. There you go. And then there was the one about the poor baby. Oh well. In the middle of the deep, dark forest where the birds dare not go lives a village of unusual people. To communicate, they use sign language, not words, fearing the outside world as dangerous and evil. Because they don't use words, they remain nameless, and they don't make noise and are so quiet. No one even knows they exist, and they'll never be famous. They wake in the morning and sleep at night. Which deep, dark forest is a secret very few knows. They have no internet, nor mobile phones, no hospitals or doctors, and so the story goes. But since they never speak, nobody ever moans. Ever. It's
That's
so
a bit
lovely.
sad.
Oh, it's great. This will be my utopia, I think.
No moans.
No whingy people.
Oh, no whinge.
Yeah.
I mean, moans are a bit
Well,
nice.
a moan of pain.
A moan of pain.
Yeah,
Or moan of pleasure.
A moan of pleasure, well, yeah. That's right.
I suppose you can't have the ups if you don't have the downs.
Yeah. Well, look, I got this name out of a poem that I'm about to read out later, and it's about a kid. Language warning, concept warning. If you're offended easily, get over yourself. He said, "Well, fuck me, I'm foreskin Fred, and I had a foreskin grafted to my head. When I was born, I had no eyelids. They grafted my foreskin to look like other kids. I've got a new girlfriend. She's blonde and dumb, and when she kisses my eyelids, I often come." I know, right? Because they're very sensitive. Yeah. And that's about where I'll call that one a day, and I'll move on to some Australian bush poetry. Maybe I might cut that one out, put it right at the end and say language warning.
Yeah.
Well,
this is language warning.
Yeah, this one will definitely come with a language warning. Well, we'll start with me Me and Bill by Francis Kenna. He was a Queensland politician in the Legislative Chamber or Legislative Assembly, one or the other. He died in 1932. He was a politician, a poet and a writer as well as a journalist. And he published the Banjo of the Overflow book or a magazine or something like that. It was about poetry. This is called Me and Bill. We were sawing a log, was me and Bill. They called him Bill, but his name was Jim. The timber wasn't working free. To hell with the thing, says I to him. 'Twas a black butt log with a 2-foot pipe, and the crosscut jammed and jammed and jammed, and I says to Bill as I stopped to wipe the sweat off me brow, well, I'll be damned. We was sleeper cutters, was Bill and me, of the hogback sort, at £8.10, with 10 bob off for the royalty, and at last the saw stuck tight, and then, says Bill, the splinters inside are stuck in the blasted teeth of the rotten thing. So we pulled and tugged, but it wouldn't bark. And the more we pulled, the more they'd cling. Now, Bill was the brains of the partnership, and there wasn't much that he didn't know. So he did a think, and I let him rip for his thoughts to flow. The thing for to do is to crawl inside and to pick the splinters and to set her free. So, into that pipe, which was 2 feet wide, he squeezed himself, did old Bill, did he? A terrible willing, all right sort was good old Bill, but he had no luck, for after a bit I heard him snort, "Oh, freed the swine, but I'm damn well stuck. I can't get back, for Christ," said Bill. "You must roll her over and saw me out." That log, it lay on the side of a hill with 500 feet of slope about. So I cuts a sapling to roll around, while Bill inside that pipey lay. And so help me Bob, on the sloping ground, that log, she makes a breakaway. With a terrible boom and an awful smash, that 10-ton log through the timber flied. You never seen such a horrible crash. And good old Bill in the pipe, inside, she was round as a ball with never a lump, and a slippery, greasy log she were, and whenever she'd hit a stump, she'd jump for 50 feet in the bloomin' air. The splinters flied from the bloomin' rocks, the trees they smashed, 'twas an awful sight. I stood and shook, and me flamin' socks, and all of a sudden, me breath grew tight. Oh, Bill's a goner. For good I said, that poor old beggar is smashed to pie. That's the end of him. Bill is dead, and I felt as if I would like to cry. I said, that log, when the creek she hits, she'll burst and shrivel old Bill to a rag. So down I goes, gather the bits and fetch him home in a sugar bag. And what do you think? Amongst the rocks I sees the logger smashed to bits. And there on the lump of it, smoking his pipe, me good old partner Billy sits. Ah, it's just me luck, he says to me, as I stood there looking surprised at him. There was 50 sleepers in that there tree. You got a match in your pocket, Jim? Oh, I think that's a better poem than Mulga Bill, even, in a way, because it's got that funny ending. It doesn't come with that sort of like, arrogance and pretension of Mulga Bill, but still it comes with that such excitement as it's going down, and it's like, oh my God, he's dead, and then it has a cool ending. Now, the last two that I'm going to do tonight are called The Captain of the Push and The Bastard of the Bush. Now, again, The Bastard of the Bush needs a language warning because it's got the fuck word and it's even got cunt in it. So, you've been warned. And the first one, The Captain of the Push, was written by Henry Lawson in 1892, when he was quite young. And the Push is what was known as a Sydney gang, a gang in the time. So they were kind of larrikins that would go around robbing and beating up people and that kind of stuff. But you'll get the gist as we go through it. And then it was clean because Henry Lawson really didn't he didn't write swearing, and a lot of bush poets say, well, yeah, you don't put swearing, but in context, the second one, The Bastard of the Bush, which is a different perspective on a similar situation, has a lot of swearing. It was published about 8 years later in 1900 by an anonymous author, and many surmise or think that it was actually Henry Lawson who wrote it and then published it anonymously because he wanted a real, more version to go out there, and he'd edited this over his time. So, The Captain of the Push. As night was falling slowly down on city, town and bush, from a slum in Jones's Alley sloped the Captain of the Push. And he scowled towards the north, and he scowled towards the south, as he hooked his little finger in the corners of his mouth, and his whistle loud and shrill woke the echoes of the rocks, and a dozen ghouls came sloping round the corners of the blocks. There was naught to rouse their anger, yet the oath that each one swore seemed less fit for publication than the one that went before. For they spoke the gutter language with the easy flow that comes only to the men whose childhood knew the brothels and the slums. Then they spat in turns and halted, and the one that came behind, spitting fiercely on the pavement, called on heaven to strike him blind. Let us first describe the captain, bottle-shouldered, pale and thin, for he was the beau ideal of a Sydney larrikin, and his hat was most suggestive of the city where we live, with a gallows tilt that no one save a larrikin can give. And his coat, a little shorter than the writer would desire, showed a more or less uncertain portion of his strange attire, that which tailors know as trousers, known by him as bloomin' bags, hanging loosely from his person, swept with tattered ends the flags. And he had a pointed stern post to the boots that peeped below, which he laced up from the centre of the nail of his great toe. And he wore his shirt uncollared and his tie correctly wrong, and I think his vest was shorter than should be in one so long. And the captain crooked his finger at the stranger on the curb, whom he qualified politely with an adjective and verb. And he begged the gory bleeders that they wouldn't interrupt till he gave an introduction. It was painfully abrupt. Here's the bleeding push, me coffee. Here's a something from the bush. Strike me dead. He wants to join us, said the captain of the push. Said the stranger, I am nothing but a bushy and a dunce, but I read about the bleeders in the weekly gas bag once. Sit lonely in the humpy when the wind began to whoosh, how I longed to share the dangers and the pleasures of the push. Gosh, I hate the swells and good uns, I could burn them in their beds. I'm with you if you'll have me, and I'll break their blazing heads. Now, look here, exclaimed the captain to the stranger from the bush. Now, look here, suppose a fellow was to spit upon the push. Would you lay for him and fetch him, even if the traps were round? Would you lay him out and kick him to a jelly on the ground? Would you jump upon the nameless, kill or cripple him or both? Speak, or else I'll speak, the stranger answered. My colonial oath. Now look here, exclaimed the captain to the stranger from the bush. Now look here, suppose the bleeders let you come and join the push. Would you smash a bleeding bobby if you got the blank alone? Would you break a swell or chinky, split his garret with a stone? Would you have a mole to keep you, like to swear off work for good? Yes, my oath, replied the stranger. My colonial oath I would. Now look here, exclaimed the captain to the stranger from the bush. "Now look here, before the bleeders let you come and join the push, you must prove that you're a blazer, you must prove that you have grit. Were you're worthy of a gory bleeder, you must show your form a bit. Take a rock and smash that window." And the stranger, nothing locked, took the rock and smashed. They only muttered, "More colonial oath!" So they swore him in and found him, sure of aim and light of heel, and his only fault, if any, lay in his excessive zeal. He was good at throwing metal, but we chronicle with pain that he jumped upon a victim, damaging the watch and chain. Ere the bleeders had secured them, the captain of the push swore a dozen oaths in favour of the stranger from the bush. Late next morn, the captain, rising hoarse and thirsty from his lair, called the newly feathered bleeder, but the stranger wasn't there. Quickly going through the pockets of his bloomin' bags, he learned that the stranger had been through 'em for the stuff his mole had earned. And the language that he muttered I should scarcely like to tell. Stars and notes of exclamation, blank and Dashel knew as well. In the night the captain's signal woke the echoes of the rocks, brought the gory beaters sloping through the shadows of the blocks. And they swore the stranger's action was a blood-escaping shame, while they waited for the nameless. But the nameless never came, and the bleeders soon forgot him, but the captain of the push still is laying round in ballast for the nameless from the bush. Yeah, and I really appreciate how it really gives an interesting perspective into that time in Sydney. Yeah. And then this one gives another perspective of a very similar event. And this is the bastard of the bush, so it's got some R-rated language in it, everyone. It's even got, anyway. As night was falling slowly over city, town and bush, from a house in Hogan's Alley came the captain of the push, and his whistle loud and piercing woke the echoes of the rocks, and a dozen ghouls came slouching round the corners of the docks. Then the captain jerked a finger at a stranger at the curb, whom he qualified politely with an adjective and verb. Then he made the introduction. "Here's a covey from the bush. Fuck me blind, he wants to join us, be a member of the push." Then the stranger made this answer to the captain of the push. "Fuck me dead, I'm Foreskin Fred, the bastard from the bush. I've been in every two-up school, from London to the loo. I've ridden colts and blackburn gins, what more can a bugger do?" "Are you going to break a window?" said the captain of the push. "Knock a fucking house down," said the bastard from the bush. "Would you take a maiden's baby?" asked the captain of the push. "I'd take a baby's maiden," said the bastard from the bush. "Would you dong a bloody copper if you caught the cunt alone? Would you stoush a swell of chinky, split his garret with a stone? Would you have 'em all to keep you, like to swear off work for good?" said the bastard. "I colonial silver-mounted oath I would." "Do you help the girls pick gum leaves?" asked the captain of the push. "No, I hit 'em with the branches," said the bastard from the bush. "Would you out a man and rob him?" asked the captain of the push. "I'd knock him down and fuck him," said the bastard from the bush. "Would you care to have a gasper?" asked the captain of the push. "I'll take the bloody packet," said the bastard from the bush. Then the pushites all took counsel, saying, "Fuck me, but he's game. Let's make him our star basher. He'll live up to his name." So they took him to their hideout, that bastard from the bush. They granted him old privilege appertaining to the push, but soon they found his little ways were more than they could stand, and finally the captain had thus addressed his little band. "Now, listen here, you buggers, we've caught a fucking tartar. At every kind of bludgeon this bastard's got the starter. At poker and at two-up he's shook our fucking rolls. He swipes our fucking liquor and he robs our bloody moles." So down in Hogan's Alley, all the members of the push laid a dark and dirty ambush for the bastard from the bush. And against the wall of Riley's pub the bastard made a stand, a nasty grin upon his dial, a bike chain in each hand. They sprang upon him in a bunch, but one by one they fell, with crack of bone, unearthly groan and agonising yell, till the sorely battered captain, spitting teeth and coughing blood, held an ear all torn and bleeding in a hand bedaubed with mud, and said, "You low polluted bastard," snarled the captain of the push. "Get back where your sort belongs, at somewhere in the bush. And I hope heaps of misfortunes may soon tumble down on you, and may some lousy harlot dose you till your bollocks turn sky blue. May pangs of windy spasms through your aching bowels dart. May you shit your bloody trousers every time you try to fart. May you take a swig of gins, piss mistaking it for beer. May the push you next expose on toss you out on your bloody ear. May the itching piles torment you, may corns grow in your feet. May crabs as big as spiders attack your balls a treat. And when you're down and out and a hopeless bloody wreck, may you slip back through your asshole and break your fucking neck." Well, thank you very much. So yeah, The Bastard from the Bush, probably Australia's most authentic poem, because, you know, people who swear are very honest, they say, which I've got to, maybe I should swear less and become a liar. No, not a good thing. All right, well, that's it for Wednesday Words. Thanks for joining us tonight, Skye. Thanks for getting me off my my doing whatever I was going to be doing without this, and getting it done. So, if you like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I might even do one more. I might actually do Les Murray's Rainwater text, because it's just like, that was the one that actually encouraged me to learn Bill and Me off by heart, because Ray Essery said to me, "You must know 100 poems. Why didn't you do one that you know?" When I stuffed it up, because I couldn't remember the first two words of which are empty rings. Boom, 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 boom. Empty rings when tapped. If I hadn't done that, I would have probably remembered it, you know. Empty rings when tapped give tongue. Rings that are tense with water talk as he sounds them rung by rung. Joe Mitchell's red knuckles walk. The cattle dog's head slinks down a notch and another notch beside the tank. And Mitchell's boy, with an old Jack plane, lifts moustache from the tank. From the puddle the tank is spilt. Hens peck glimmerings and up-tilt their heads to shape the quickness down. Petunias live on what gets spilt. The tank stand spider adds a spittle thread to her portrait of her soul. Pencil grey and stacked, like shillings out of a banker's paper roll, stands the tank, roof water drinker. The down pipe stairs drought into it. Briefly the kitchen tap turns on then off, but the tank says, "Debit, debit." Yeah, it's got some great lines in it, that, adds the tank stand spider adds a spittle thread to her portrait of her soul. What a lovely thing, eh?
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it's just, it is, and that's why he's such a great, known as a Les Murray poet, as known as such a great poet. Yeah. And Henry Lawson for his wonderful historical stuff. Yeah. Me for my bullshit.
And perspectives.
Yeah, I know. There's different perspectives, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. I've got my gosh, I don't know what to genreise myself. I mean, there's funny poems. Then there's the surreal ones where I go off into other worlds and do weird shit with weird animals and stuff. And then there's the personified animal poems, all the kids' poems, like the seahorse medicine ones. suppose it's just a part of development as a poet, and I suppose as poets, as everyone's got a poet in them. It's about becoming a good poet is just writing a lot and practicing as much as you can, and I suppose, and not caring because if you write shit, because everything, like when you look back on it, could appear shit. When you look at it once you've processed it too, look at things differently. There's a lot of stuff that I edit now. When I go back, there's stuff that I probably wouldn't publish ever again, but it's out there. I don't think like I thought 8 years ago, like 2017, that's 8 years ago. My political views are very vastly different to what they were back then. Matured. Yeah. So, Wednesday Words. That's it. The 16th of April, 2025. Yeah. See you next week.